Have you ever found that you are doing everything you need to do based on your convictions to serve God, but in the midst of seeking to obey Him, whether it's at church, a job, whether it's at the house, whether it's taking care of senior parents, whether it's a single person seeking to live a life that pleases God, you end up blessed, but you're stressed. You're stressed in keeping up with all the different issues you're facing. It could be the fact that your schedule is just tight. You're running from the job to get home, to cook, to get the kids ready to go to church for Bible study, or the kids are involved in activities at the church. And then you're also a leader, so you have to end up going to meetings, not just church services. And then your budget busts up on you. You got things that break at the house, but the Bible is still saying, give to God. And car breaks down, and the Bible is still saying, give to God. And you have all the different dynamics that jobs could bring. It may be not hiring enough people, so now you have more work on you that you got to get done. So when you get home, you turn around and you now have to deal with putting the kids to bed and all the different things that you may be required of you. And then you sit down trying to get caught up on your job and you just feel worn out. So you're blessed because God is definitely blessing your life and you thank Him for it, but you're stressed. How do you balance life when you're blessed, but you're stressed? And many times when we come to how we live, it is interesting that we put a lot of emphasis on what we are doing, somewhat religiously, rigid in a way, because when we have these things all lined up, we know God must be pleased. And it's because of that, we are pushing every day because we have to keep all those things lined up. And I want to challenge you today that many times for me as a pastor, with all the demands that are on me, that it's easy for me to meet all those demands, but my prayer life isn't there anymore. The intimacy with God is not the same. It's kind of like a husband and wife who may be doing all the right things. They got the breakfast, they've got the bills done, they've got the pantry with food, they're making sure the kids are doing all this, but they themselves are not close anymore. They've kind of drifted away because the routine issues of life just kept them so busy, so involved, that they don't have time for each other. What causes things to be less stressed when you're blessed? Communication. Taking time to rest when we're tired. You say, oh, well, but I can't do that because I have this. No, sometimes it's better to get a bit of rest so that you're more effective at what you have to do. It's not what you've lost, it's the limitations that God has allowed us to have. He's allowed us to have some limitations where we get tired sometimes. And so cut back on the television so you get the rest you need. Cut back on how you may be over-involved at the job. And you may not take that big position because now it's keeping you more occupied than the other position you had that kept you less stressed. So sometimes you end up with less, but you have more. That's the first thing I want to say to you today that you might keep in mind. Also keep the intimacy with God higher than anything you do with Him. A prayer life. Think about people like Paul, busy, writing half the New Testament, but I would pray without ceasing. Many times you look at the fact that there's so many busy schedules that you have in the church and you have to study to get ready for what you're doing. Study to be prepared for yourself and how you live. Don't study for what you're teaching first, study for how you're living first. And then when you come to people, love them from your heart, not from your responsibility. And what you end up doing is depending more on the Holy Spirit to empower your life than your flesh to keep you strong. And as a result of that, you end up blessed even while you're stressed.